So we really are doing this.
Yes. Already told you.
You sure?
Yes. We're going to do it.
So last week, Bryan and I recorded our bit for WandaVision. Probably the most fun we ever had recording something. But it does take a while for us to do something. We meet up for like 30 minutes, write a script, and just start recording.
Rene, it's been the two of us last couple months. You sure you're going to be okay bringing in someone else?
Yeah, dude. I mean, you gotta bring someone else in. You can't be doing everything yourself.
So you want to what? Bring in someone that knows camera work?
No, you could just teach them.
So last week, Rene and I decided to produce an office-style Modern Family bit for our WandaVision episode. And we loved it so much that we decided to produce our own docu-style series where we, show our brand growth. Am I excited for it? Yeah. Like I said in the podcast, I've always wanted to produce some sort of TV show, and I think this is going to be a great start. But with all the editing, writing, filming, and producing I do, I don't know how Rene wants me to fit in training. Yeah.
Okay, Bryan, you gotta be doing something for the camera, or the series won't work at all.
Rene, give me like 5 minutes, man. I'm hungry. We gotta film the podcast. We gotta film the video.
We haven't had our great caffeine. So, just... Yeah.
Alright. Wait, what? Bryan?
What?
What, Rene? No, really, what? Mother...
Hey, what's up, you guys? Welcome back to Keeping Up with the Nerds, Keeping Up with WandaVision, Episode 8. I'm Rene, and Bryan is not here at the moment. He's kind of having a midlife crisis.
We were wrong! WandaVision. Let me tell you something.
You good?
When we start making videos saying, what we think of and what we think is going to happen, you don't go in and make an episode where we say, hey, guys, guess what? Everything you thought that was going to happen, everything you thought that was real, just not.
What is his Last Jedi?
Ah,
So, a lot happened in this episode. But then a lot of stuff got revealed. If anything, this was an episode just basically showing us, oh, yeah, no, this is not how you thought it was going to happen, No.
Everything that we legitimately thought was going to happen, just decided to say, no, we're just not going to put anything that you said. Everything that you thought was real just wasn't. And we're going to give you, completely different things. We're going to side blind you because that's just what Disney does, right?
Yes.
Did you like the episode?
I kind of did. I want to say I did, but I don't know. It was cool seeing the stuff that they revealed, about Wanda's origin, what's going on, how the Hex truly became to be. We did kind of predict that it would be like flashbacks.
Yes.
In our last video, just the wrong character.
Yes. Yes. We got Wanda's pretty much origin, and we got to see exactly how she came to be and how we got to where we are now. Honestly, this episode better than the last one. I think it's probably one of the top 3 in my opinion.
Yeah.
I just personally have a problem with the fact that we were 100% completely wrong on a lot of things. Everything that we
Bryan
thought,
doesn't like to be wrong.
I don't, because we worked so hard on everything else.
It bothers him.
So, we had a lot of predictions the last 7 episodes, and here we are looking at episode 8, and everything was just not what we thought it was going to be. One of the biggest turnarounds here was that we thought there was a second player, a second writer directing this entire world, and it turned out to be false.
Basically, Mephisto's not in here.
No.
No.
I still believe he will be. But we find out in this episode that Wanda was the one that created this entire world, that she solely was responsible for the creation of Westview. And the reason why Westview was portrayed as sitcoms from different eras of television was because Wanda grows up with these sitcoms. And
that's how she learned English. And we said that, I think, in one of our early videos. That
in a podcast.
Yeah,
actually.
a podcast. That's what it was.
So we pretty much said that this whole entire thing was set up because Wanda wanted to create a world where she would feel comfortable, and we get that in this episode. We get Wanda's comfort in sitcoms, and that's why we have this kind of created world that she did. Agatha had nothing to do with this. She was just another person living in this world, monitoring her.
Yeah.
In regards to how this episode kind of went on, this is just more flashbacks. This is just pretty much Wanda's origin story retold in her show.
I think it did a good job of showing us basically why Wanda felt that she needed to do this. It was basically losing her parents, then losing Pedro, and then losing Vision. Losing every single person that she got, close to and loved after losing another person before then, and just feeling completely alone. You feel that.
Yeah.
You feel why she needed, it was just pure grief that she was dealing with.
Did you notice how Agatha was just kind of being an asshole and just going like, you've lost your mom, your dad, your brother, and now Vision.
Mm-hmm.
That's kind of a dick move.
Right?
That was pretty bad.
Mind you, let's say that actress that plays Agatha,
Deborah, I believe. I can't
No,
remember.
it's not Deborah.
No, it's
that was Mrs. Foreman from that 70s show. Her name's
that's
Deborah.
right.
Yeah.
Yeah, but she only appeared for like a bit.
They had to put her. They had to credit her. They did the same thing with Evan Peters.
I'll put her name down here.
Yeah.
But I'm in love with her acting
like her?
in this,
Yeah.
and she's just phenomenal. She did a fantastic job portraying, just an evil sorceress here who just wants to just figure out what Wanda is for her own gain.
It's an interesting new take on a villain. There's no secret intentions. There's basically just like she wants to understand how powerful, why she's so powerful.
Yes. So let's go ahead and just start naming some of the big reveals here,
Okay.
because last video we took 23 minutes. I'm not about to edit another 20-minute video.
No.
So let's go ahead and try to cut this down to about 10 minutes.
Okay.
The big reveals. Pretty much we find out that Wanda isn't necessarily an experimentation. She was born with these powers, these magical chaos powers.
She always had she could do them, but it took a lot of emotion to do it. That's the thing.
We also find out that the Mind Stone had some sort of play in it, but not necessarily gifting her the powers that we see there.
No.
In a way, it was kind of hinted at that maybe they were probably enhanced by the Mind Stone. Mm-hmm. What other reveals did we get?
Basically, the director of S.W.O.R.D. completely lied about the whole encounter with Wanda. That saying that Wanda was the one that stormed into the building. No, we actually saw what happened. She just wanted to bury Vision.
Yes.
She just wanted his body back. It wasn't even for what we thought was. And basically, we find out his intentions with the body as well too of Vision.
It was kind of a pretty. What is it with these assholes in this series, man? We get Agatha, who's just kind of like reminding Wanda that she's lost everyone, and then we get director Haywood coming in and saying like, we're trying to bring him back online. I mean, he's not alive, and it's just he's just $1 billion by burning him. You just want to bury it? Yes, want to freaking love them.
Yeah.
What do you want to do? What do you expect, dude? Honestly,
Oh
Hayward Hayward, automatic villain for me.
Automatic villain. Yep.
What other reveals did we get? Pietro. That's right.
Yeah.
Pietro.
This isn't Pietro. This is it's basically what she said is a fake Pietro. But we don't know how he has the powers of Quicksilver. Again, that could have been maybe Agatha, but we don't know yet. That's not confirmed nor denied. I still believe maybe he was pulled out from a multiverse, because that's still something that they haven't touched on yet. They still haven't touched onto the multiverse.
No, they haven't, and I think that's something that we can expect. Fingers crossed that we're actually right in probably the next episode or two. Another thing, we actually get to see Agatha's pin.
Yes.
Where she actually got it from.
Where she
Shout
got
out
it from.
Eric, twice in one video. 2
Hey,
videos
buddy.
in a row, buddy. Thank you for that. So we actually get to see that the pin was actually gifted, or she actually took it after she pretty much killed
her mother.
Yeah, and the coven that she belonged to. What other things? We got to see the Mind Stone. We got to see Scarlet Witch coming out of the Mind Stone.
Yeah.
And I have a prediction. We'll get to that when we get to that part of the video in our prediction parts.
And then
it was a little detail that was cut off just a little bit short, but I think there is some sort of secret meaning behind
and then
that.
we can talk about the second end credit scene.
Yes,
which was the resurrection of Vision.
Yes, actually much better than the last mid-credits.
Right, yeah.
There was a lot more to be told with that because we actually get to see Vision in a full-on white getup.
Yes.
Interesting because you pointed this out when we came in. I wasn't aware of this, and I should have been. Vision's color schemes in other comic book story arcs was white.
Was white because he was brought back to life.
Yes, we see that in Infinity Wars.
Yes.
Yes, that's one of the books that you pointed out. The original Infinity Wars comic book, he is actually painted white. So it could be more of like a little throwback kind of color schematic because we've been seeing a lot of that.
Yeah.
A lot of fan service in that way. So they could be playing upon that and saying like, yeah, we're going to bring back Vision and we're just going to make him full on white instead of that red green that we constantly see.
Yeah.
All right. So do you have anything else to add or?
That's pretty much it. Not a lot. So this was a longer episode, but not a lot happened. If anything, it was just basically being revealed to what we already didn't know, and then that was pretty much it.
It was more of like your questions could be answered here, but not to its fullest extent.
No.
And that's pretty much what we got in this episode. We just got the puzzle pieces, the directions to where the puzzle pieces are going to be lying here. And that's about it. There's still another episode, and I think that some of these loose ends that we're going to be see here might be tied up here, but you know, we'll talk about it right now in our prediction segment, which is coming up right now. Renee, do you have any predictions on what's going to happen in episode 9 and 10?
We've talked about this. Actually, the way that this episode ends, that there's still a lot of stuff they didn't wrap up everything, because supposedly the next episode is the last episode, but you and I have talked about it. There's one thing that the series hasn't done that usually sitcoms do, is usually a 1 hour special or a 2-parter series. And all sitcoms do that. They've been doing that for years. This show hasn't done that yet.
No, and yeah, sorry.
So basically lead to believe that if after episode 9 we are going to get either a special or a part 2 to episode 9.
Yeah, the reason why we do believe that is mainly because of the episode titles that we see on there. They are kind of themed in a very TV show way, meta, kind of, you know, telling that this is pretty much based on a television show, even though it is a TV show. But you know what we're trying to say here. Usually, what we see in a lot of these sitcoms, like Renee said, is that they cut them up in 2 episodes. They give us an extended look, and this is what we pretty much do see happening in the end of WandaVision, because they are talking about a season 2. Perhaps this has been kind of like the idea that we've been seeing, and we've seen some outlets confirm a season 2. Do you really feel like it does need a season 2?
I don't think so, especially the way that we're going to get Wanda later on in this new phase of movies that we'll be getting. I don't think we need a WandaVision episode 2, especially because how this series was set up. It was, you know, a mystery of why Vision's alive and why they're stuck in this world, and I kind of don't see them going beyond that.
Yeah, it was mainly a show. It felt like a one-hitter kind of thing. Like a one-season, one-hitter kind of show. And it honestly doesn't feel like it needed a season 2. But with that said, it does feel like a lot of loose ends haven't been tied up. A lot of loose ends that probably will not fit in a 40-minute show or 40-minute episode.
No.
You know, we could be seeing another hour-long episode, and we've said that the last 2 different episodes. We said that, you know, the last 3 were going to be an hour long. Then we said the last 2 are going to be an hour long. And now we're saying that the last one is going to be an hour long. But if it's, you know, what we're saying is true, we might be seeing a 2-parter for the last episode, 9 and 9.5 or whatever you want to call it.
Secret 10th episode.
Yeah, exactly. And that might add up to about an hour and a half, or maybe even 2 hours. But there have been a lot of loose ends that have not been tied up. We don't know what's going to happen to the kids. The kids are physically there.
Yeah, they're there. They're being just held down by Agatha. So, which is good. I mean, not good. Sorry. Which is interesting.
which is good. Renee does not condone the death of these children.
But it's just, there's a lot happening today, guys. We've done a lot. But I think the one thing is that I want to see Scarlet Witch and Agatha either duke it out, have a fight, you know, make it really fun, make it cinematic, and then Vision comes sweeping in last minute and stuff like that. Or Monica.
Yeah. Exactly. So
Yeah.
there's so many different things that could end up happening because the kids are there. We see that. We don't know what's happened to Monica after Pietro has seen her trying to
Pietro
go into the
again.
thing.
We don't know
Nothing
with him yet.
No.
So
we don't know where Darcy and Vision are at. Not seen at all in this episode. We barely got to see White Vision.
Do you see what we're talking about, guys? There's a lot to wrap up in just one episode. Can they do that?
They could, but it just probably will not be.
No, they can't. 10th episode, Kevin Feige. We see you now, all right?
Do you? Because we've been trying to see him the last 7 episodes and just nothing.
It's irrelevant.
Relevant. We've been proven wrong already.
We have.
Do I need another midlife crisis for you, buddy?
No.
Okay, well then don't give me another one because I can't handle it. We're wrong here.
Wrong.
All right, so my big prediction for this one, I'm going to throw a massive curveball here just to wrap up this episode because I know we're going to hit over the 15-minute mark at this point. My prediction is this. So like I said, we're going to be getting probably 2 different episodes for part 9. That could be a thing. But I do want to focus on the fact that the Mind Vision did showcase a silhouette of Wanda or Scarlet Witch in her original form.
Yeah.
We also got in the ending of this episode, Agatha saying that she is a sorceress of chaos.
Yes.
She is a Scarlet Witch. Scarlet Witch, from what we've been assuming was the name of Wanda, her superheroine persona. This could not be the case.
No.
I'm predicting that there is much more to tell about what Wanda is. Yahoo Entertainment pretty much came out with an article, and several other outlets have come out basically saying that this episode had retconned massive parts of Age of Ultron, where Wanda and Petra were not experimented children, and that's how they've got their powers. Instead, these kids were born with their powers, aka being mutants, right? And what we do see here is that the Mind Stone could have probably enhanced their powers. So my prediction is that within the next couple of, entries, not necessarily episode 9, we're going to be getting an explanation as to how, other people like Wanda and Pietro have powers, that they were born with it, maybe an X gene. They did focus in the last 2 episodes how, powers were essentially gained or discovered in moments of tragedy or moments where they're super stressful. We do see the kids essentially exhibiting their powers in that kind of way. Billy, I think it was, when the kid that has Wanda's powers, like in a way, he begins to show his powers when Vision is close to death. We see that Wanda stops the bomb from exploding when, her parents essentially died in that explosion. We don't know how Pietro has his powers, but there's been a massive focus in on that.
Yeah.
What I do want to say is probably Scarlet Witch, the name, is a term being used for people that have had similar mutations like Wanda.
Yeah.
And we're going to be discovering that historically in the MCU, there have been other people with that similar mutations, and they're labeled as Scarlet Witch.
Yeah.
Maybe Agatha's Coven is one way, one way of producing magic. What's his name? Doctor Strange is another method of producing magic, and then we have the Scarlet Witches, and Wanda is just another person being born with that mutation.
That's interesting.
That belongs in that kind of coven or group.
Definitely.
They're just a myth because Agatha was pretty much explaining that this is, something of legend, something of myth.
Yeah.
So the silhouette of Scarlet Witch, maybe it isn't her, maybe it isn't, a different, multiverse version of Wanda and Scarlet Witch.
It's a symbol.
It's a not even a symbol. Oh. This could basically be a different Scarlet Witch from a different time within that MCU story.
Oh, I see what you mean. Okay.
Yeah. So they could be building up to that, and that's pretty much how they're going to be, showing off mutations and stuff like that.
All right.
In a way, though, I do want to say, when people are saying that this episode retconned certain things of the MCU, technically speaking, they didn't retcon anything.
No. They kind of added something.
They added to it because Age of Ultron, they kind of hinted at the fact that maybe they did experiment on both Wanda and Pietro.
Yeah.
And that's how they got their powers, but they weren't 100% certain. So it's kind of like finalizes and stamps the idea that, they were born with their powers.
Yeah.
So this is a pretty good episode. Part of me is like, oh, this is a bad episode. We're totally wrong. But it was good that we actually got to tie in a lot of loose ends.
Yeah.
Anything else you want to add?
That's it.
Yeah. Okay. With that said, we're going to go ahead and wrap it up. Renee, you want to wrap this up?
Yeah. All right, guys. Go ahead and, if you like this episode, go ahead and give it a like, give it a share, subscribe, follow us on all of our social medias on Instagram and Twitter. And then also, don't forget, we also have a podcast. Just Google Keeping Up with the Nerds. You'll find all of our audio platforms right then and there.
Every Wednesday at 11:30.
Yes.
All right. With that said, thank you guys for joining us on this video. This is Keeping Up with the Nerds, Keeping Up with WandaVision. My name is Bryan.
Rene.
And we'll see you all next time.